heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now. Y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, quite a number of things have happened. We had Deku and the teams. Now, Deku faced off against 9, and Deku stole the man's quirks. Deku left the man alive with regeneration. And right now Deku, he actually is intrigued. But there was something that happened. There was Stars and Stripes, the #1 hero from America. She's currently in Japan. And right now she actually did make a bit of a debut and encounter Izuku Midoriya. However, Izuku Midoriya, he didn't know who this was. He used Scan and saw how powerful her quirk was. And with the fact that Endeavor and Eraserhead are here, that isn't good. Mirako he can handle in hand-to-hand combat. However, whenever they would team up on him, there's a very good likelihood he would lose. So Deku, he did the best thing that he could. He ran. Now, Deku did this for multiple reasons. However, right now, there's the fact that with the information he has on the doctor, it's fresh. It is instantaneous. And right now, he needs to get back. Now then, with that being said, there actually is over with the other group. Todoroki, Momo, and Asui. These three were brought in by police wherever they raided their fighting, well, underground fight ring. Now, the rest managed to get away. However, these three, they were put into a position. Either they fought police, or they turned themselves in. They had no position to run at the moment, so they turned themselves in. Now, with that being said, Deku currently is formulating a plan. And right now we do actually have Todoroki, who does sit there in an interrogation room as he's handcuffed to the table. And right now they do come walking in angry. Now, Endeavor, he does stand there with his arms crossed as he actually does go to stare at Todoroki. And right now he does go to look up to his dad. Scars new. I do not have time for this, Shoto. What do you have time for? What do you have time for, Dad? I'm trying to protect people. So was I. I had things under control there. And you just come in? We would have had the doctor. No, you wouldn't, Shoto. How do you know that? Because the doctor, he evaded us too. We went to another location. I'm assuming that you're working with him. Who are you talking about? Izuku Midoriya. I spoke to him today. I know one of your friends from Class 1A. What was his name? Mr. Katsuki? Bakugo Katsuki. He was involved. I know that 2 other members of your class were involved. And right now some of you have abandoned witness protection. Fine. Sure, we did. We've been fighting crime, using our provisional licenses, and doing what we can. Do you expect me just to sit there and wait? UA's been turned into a fortress, and I'm not just going to hide behind walls, Dad. Now, Todoroki is not going to stand up. And right now Endeavor does watch his son, Godoki, fight against the handcuffs, shouting out that how is he supposed to just sit there and do things? He learned that his brother turned out to be Dobby, a fucking villain. And what happened? He just stood there and watched. He was there for the funeral. They both were. Fuyumi, Natsuo, his mom. He's never apologized for anything in his life. He turned his son into a monster. And then guess what? Newsflash. Toya is alive. Now, endeavored to stare at Todoroki, and right now his eyes somewhat widen before going back to anger, and he does shout out that that's not possible. Now, the two do go back and forth, and right now Endeavor, he's angry. Todoroki struck a nerve. Endeavor's greatest failure, his son Toya Todoroki, he's dead. DNA tests showed that the body, it was Toya. And, well, burying him, it wasn't too good. Especially because he's a villain, and they couldn't really have an open casket to see him. Now, Endeavor, he does have that thought in his mind. Toya is alive. Dabi is alive. That villain is back. But that villain is his son. Now, Endeavor, right after he does somewhat try to calm down, he does tell Todoroki he needs to go to UA. He needs to be there and be safe. Being a vigilante is not him right now. When this whole thing is cleared up, maybe things can be different. Yes, a lot of bad things has happened to him and his allies, his classmates, but that does not give them the right to run around like this. To which Todoroki would go to someone to tell his father. The Hero Committee, they did a lot of bad things. They did. I met the man, Izuku, who murdered them all, butchered them like dogs. I've heard his side of the story, Dad. I've seen the evidence. I've met him. You know that thing that happened to me with the Nomu? You know that thing that messed up my head? Now, Endeavor to stare at his son, and Todoroki would tell his father. He fixed him. He helped this headache stop. He helped these thoughts stop. He helped this fear stop. And right now he feels better than ever. Right now he doesn't care if his father is the #1 hero. Right now he wants to help people. And right now Endeavor, he wants to stop him. Now, Endeavor to stare at his son. He's always wanted his son to be a hero. He was his greatest weapon. No, his child with the most potential. And he's been a terrible father. Now, that currently is going through Endeavor's mind. As right now, there actually is, where the police station, they do actually feel quite a bit of things happen. The ground shakes, and right now the power does go out, and emergency lights do turn on. Now, Deku's voice is currently heard over the loudspeaker. Right now, his name is Izuku. Many of them, they do know him, and he's going to cut to the chase. He's going to walk inside their building and get his allies. Anyone who tries to stop him, they will be taken down swiftly and quickly. Right now, anyone who does try to stop them, they will not be killed. They are all law enforcement. Any of them who do want to stand aside will not be harmed. Get on the ground and stay on the ground. And they will be left with minimal injury, if possible. Now, Endeavor to stand there annoyed. And right now he actually doesn't want to step out, as he does actually see Deku walking towards the police station. Now, whenever this does actually happen, there actually is somebody who, they were predicting this. And right now Nezu, he does currently going to stand up, and go to somewhat look towards Endeavor. Endeavor, turning his head surprised, seeing Nezu. He didn't expect the small creature. Creature, yes. Now, Endeavor does look back towards Izuku, before Nezu does start to walk forwards, and at least ask Izuku questions. Now, Deku, he does stop and look to Nezu, as the man does explain that right now he is here for many reasons. Right now they all do share a common goal, yet they are working independently and differently to achieve their current, well, targets. Now, Deku does ask Nezu what he's talking about, and Nezu, he does explain. Right now a lot has been happening. Right now UA is a safe haven for people. And right now, while the rule of law has been changed all over Japan, they do have law in UA. Right now the city is still defended by pros. And right now, currently Nezu, he wants to have a chat with Izuku. Izuku has done quite a bit, and he does need to know. They would have let him kill all for one, had he simply talked with the heroes. They all took a vote on it, and they all did at least approve of his execution. Now, Deku does somewhat stand there surprised, and right now Deku, he actually doesn't want to bring up his hand, and Nezu does watch, as Deku does bring up his hand and then hold up a number 1. Now, right now they're actually over Mizuki. She does actually turn off her camouflage, appearing right behind Deku as Nezu endeavor to look towards her, and ever more surprised as Ochako actually comes flying down. Now, Ochako does float down, and when she does so, their actions were Endeavor. He does look at the two. These three are the ones who were the vigilantes, and from what he can tell, new abilities. Correct, Endeavor. You brought my son back. I see he told you about Toya. Yes, I did. He's alive. Yes. Very confused. He has no memory. Clean slate. I know a lot about you, Endeavor. In particular, your abilities are ones that the committee, they were looking at for me to have for a very long time. And, well, the fact that you're still alive, it was a decision on their part. Too high profile to die in a random accident. What are you talking about? Endeavor, you're a good pro, but you're not a good person. In fact, I have thoughts about gutting you alive right now. And I will tell you, many of them, I feel like they'd be very therapeutic to your children. Now, Endeavor to stare directly at Deku, and Deku to stare back at the man, before Nezu breaks the tension that he does see building. Express to Izuku that right now, him saying it a bit loudly, they all need to chat. Right now, Izuku does need to know. Pro heroes want to work with his group. And right now, if that does happen, charges will be dropped against the three for what they've done. They will not serve sentences, and right now, they can actually work to try and protect people. Because being a vigilante, that is the safer option if they are to work with the heroes currently. In fact, they could be licensed as sidekicks. And while that is a thing that they can do, fact is the Doctor, he is still their most dangerous target. Him and the League of Villains. And Deku, he does somewhat understand. As Nezu, he does continue talking. And right now, Deku, he actually watches Nezu walk up towards him and bring out his hand, asking Izuku if he will agree to the terms. Now, Deku does look down. He knows what Nezu's doing. He wants Deku to think it out. Now, Deku does bring down his hand, and right after his hand makes contact with Nezu's, their actions with Deku, he does think about quite a bit. And Nezu, he does watch the gears turn in Deku's mind. As Deku currently, he's going through a lot of data. Everything going on with that new pro. He doesn't know who they are, he doesn't know what they are, he doesn't know what their powers are, he doesn't know anything about what they do. He doesn't know their involvement in anything, he doesn't know the role of the committee, he doesn't know anything about that. There's the fact that currently UA is a safe haven. Many people can be safe there, many heroes are safe there, there are many people there, and the fact is, right now he's assuming Mirio, the person in charge of One for All at the current moment, is there. Fact of the matter is, Kirigiri is still a liability. The League of Villains is still a liability with the Meta Liberation Army and the Paranormal Liberation Front. Right now they've been split into groups. Right now the fact is, they have no idea where Shigaraki is, they have no idea where exactly the Doctor is, and right now their leads have been zero, fuck all, and nowhere. Really glad I got that all in one go. Really proud of myself, actually. Now, fact of the matter is, Deku, he has no idea what to do. And right now, he is at a bit of a crossroad. Work with the heroes and find out exactly what this Project 9 claimed could kill him is, or go against that. Stay a vigilante and currently try and figure this out on his own. However, there's another thing. Deku can gain more abilities. Gain the abilities of pros who actually are trying to do good. And if that is the case, he can possibly circumnavigate or avoid this threat Nine may have warned him about. Now, Deku does stare down at Nezu, and right now, he does go to agree. And Nezu, he actually does look towards Endeavor. As Deku, he does look back towards the man and explain. As right now Todoroki, he is let go of his handcuffs, or, well, unlocked from them, and Asui and Momo, they are let go. Now, there currently is where Deku, he does make a phone call. And everybody, they do move their party to UA. Now, currently there actually is when they do start to arrive. Nezu, he's called ahead of time. And right now, fact of the matter is, a lot of people are alarmed whenever Izuku Midoriya walks into UA with Endeavor and a few other people. Now, a large group of civilians, they do see this. And right now, Deku, well, some people actually are cheering him on. Some, they do stare at him. They're horrified of his powers. I mean, he murdered All For One, and he's been murdering hundreds of people, maybe even more than 1,000, and yet the heroes still want to work with him. He was the committee's black sheep. But, I mean, the committee, the way they ran everything, it was sketchy at best. There was good, and there was bad, and there was definitely a lot of ugly. And, well, Deku, his code, that's what people are having trouble figuring out. If they're bad in his eyes, if they're considered villains, he'll kill them. And many people here, they actually are scared. They think that they're in danger with Deku around. And some, they actually do think the exact opposite. They know that they're good people, so they should actually be safe. Now, whenever everybody else started to show up, there actually was a few of the kids' parents. Some of them were alarmed to see their children, and many of them they were surprised at the fact that they were vigilantes. And there actually was a Mizuki. She came running up to Bakugo, and whenever she did hug him, she actually had someone smash him across the head, shouting at him for being a goddamn idiot and going out there all crazy, and how she was worried to high hell about him. Now, Deku, he did somewhat good to turn and see this. Him giving a slight smile, as there actually was someone Mizuki, or Mizuki, did look over to Deku. And Deku, he just stood there staring at her for a second, before going to somewhat look down and away. Her walking back over. Izuku? Hi, Mizuki. It's been a while. I haven't seen you since you were a child. It's really you. Yeah. I mean, I have seen you again, though. Oh, you have? Yeah, sorry. It's nice to see you again. It's nice to see you again, Izuku. I... I'm sorry about your mother and dad. Your mother and father, they were good people. The committee shouldn't have done what they done. Yeah. Yeah. I know. But, it happened. But I might be able to change that. Izuku, I know a lot's going through your mind. Okay? It's... Mizuki, please shut up. Excuse me? Mizuki, you don't know me. They're good looking up. I have been through more than you can imagine. Don't pretend I'm still that kid. Listen, I've done a lot, okay? I can bring them back. It's just gonna take me a minute. I need to find them. I can do that. Now, Deku does stare at Mitsuki, and right now Deku, the expression on his face does change. He's confronting his past. He looks terrified. I mean, kind of scared, and this is alarming to her. But more so, it's surprising to everybody else around him. Deku, he was okay just a second ago, but right now he's being messed with mentally. Now, their actions are Deku is going to turn and blast away into the sky. And right now, a lot of people are confused. He just got here. Now where's he going? Now, their actions were, well, not Mirko. Mirio, he does actually come running up. And right now he actually watches Deku just go to fly away. Him at least asking what the hell's happening. As Mirio, he does go to look down towards Nezu. And right now Deku, he does have a lot going through his mind. High specs is still in his mind. He's trying to go over everything. He's going over much. But his brain is working too fast. This quirk, the last time it was in his system, he made too many calculations. He went faster than his mind was used to. His training and his emotion, he started to lose control of them. Too many thoughts, too many impulses, too many, well, things he wants to do. Trying to control this random tidal wave of thought, it's hard. And right now Deku, he's panicking. He's not used to thinking this fast. And he's wrapping his mind around the idea of what to do. Bring his mother and father back from the dead. All he needs is a few villains. That's right. That's all he needs. They were given proper burials. But can he do that? I mean, he knows he can bring them back. He knows he can do that. He knows he can do this. But can he really just dig them up? I mean, Todoroki's brother, that was easy. That was not personal to him. But this, I mean, this is years and years, a decade of decay, a decade of cell death. He knows it's possible. Bringing them back might be possible. Now, right now they're actually Ochako and Mizuki. And the two, they know exactly where Deku might be going. Now, the actions were the two, they got in the car, and they went for a drive. As right now they knew exactly where to meet Deku. Now, there currently is Deku, about 3 to 4 hours later. Now, Deku, right now, he got a few things done. Right now, he was tossing it over in his mind and trying to figure it all out. He knew what he had to do. I mean, bring them all back. Yes, that's a good idea. That's what he needs to do. But starting off with his parents, that was the thing that he was having trouble with. I mean, he wanted to see if it was possible, but doing it to his parents first, then Ochako and Mizuki's families, would that be good? Would that be bad? And that's why things are confusing. Now, Deku was turning that idea around in his head. And right now, Deku, he does sit there thinking about that, as right now, he does stare down at the corpse of his mother and father. And he actually does bring his hand up, and Reki gotta bring his hand down. As whenever he does grab onto his arm, he does start to pull on it. And Deku, he actually does turn off regeneration for a second. As right now, Deku, he does rip his arm off at the elbow. Now, Deku, he does have a few ideas. He needs blood of related persons. And the blood, his blood, should help. Mom and Dad. He'll see them again. Okay, Izuku, stop your thoughts. You're experiencing psychosis. What you're doing right now is going on emotion. What you're doing right now is an emotional outburst. What you're doing right now is an experiment. Right. They won't come back perfect. They won't remember what he remembers. Now, the idea does go through Deku's mind. And right now, after Deku, he does have enough blood, he does bring his hand down. And right now, Deku, he does somewhat going to close his eyes, as he does actually turn on his regeneration. Now, Deku does bring his hand back up. And right now, he does go to stretch it outwards, grabbing onto a villain, as he does go to directly pull them over and start the process. Now, whenever the two girls do arrive at the graveyard, they actually would find Deku. And right now, Deku, he does just don't sit there. Him looking out at the graveyard. And right now, there actually is where Mizuki no Chako do come walking up. And they do try to ask him if he's okay. And Deku doesn't want to turn his head. It worked. Now, Deku doesn't want to point. And right now there actually is what they do see. The current situation. All of their parents. And the way they do look. And Mizuki no Chako, they do stare on. But they're a bit more surprised. I mean, they're alive. And there actually is all of them. They all just don't sit there. Catatonic. Not doing anything. Just sitting there looking around occasionally. They're so out of it. And, well, in the best way of saying it, they don't look like they're there at all. And what Deku might have done, was it really a good idea? Now, right now Deku just don't sit there. And he does still stare on. His mother and father. As right now Deku just watches dad. His dad does sit there. Right now in that old worn out suit and tie. And right now his dad is only going to bend down and bring up a handful of dirt. Him staring at it. As he does this, I'm going to bring it up to his other hand. And right now he actually does go to rub his hands together and look at them. A sense of touch. His touch, his hands, they don't feel right. His head doesn't feel right. The way he sees things, they don't feel okay. And his body, it just doesn't, nothing about this feels right. What is wrong with him? Now, his dad somewhat does try to make a sound, trying to at least vocalize an issue. And Deku would hear it. As right now the strange moan he does let out sounds more like someone or an injured animal crying for help. And Deku doesn't want to bring his hands out to cover his ears. He heard it a lot already. The sounds they make. They weren't good. The ideas of what he's done. Dabi was a success, but he was recent in death. And them, they weren't. Maybe they could heal. Maybe he could try rebuilding them again. But he already went out and found more villains. Yes, they got better, but this improvement, eventually it'll go downhill. Eventually, they'll lose them again. And Deku, he's not ready for that. This idea in his mind, can he live with that? But this time, he'll actually be there to watch them be buried. Now, right now the 8, or should I say 9, do go back to UA. And whenever they do, a lot of people start to ask a few questions. Especially because these people that were brought in, they're catatonic. I mean, they assume that they were put through some traumatic experience. I mean, just look at them. They look like they just crawled out of the grave. I mean, were they in a building collapse? Were they attacked by villains? Jesus. It all looks bad. Now, right now UA they do take in these 6, and they do actually have a few doctors look over and monitor them, especially because of the state they're in. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does regret a few things he's done, and right now, fact of the matter is, he's got a lot on his mind. As you do currently cut to him later. Right now, Deku, he's sitting at the end of his own bed, and he does think about it. He's working with pros again. He's working with heroes. They let him kill All for One. They did much for him. But what is he going to do now? They need to find the portal villain, the one allowing the Doctor to move around. But if that's the case, they need to be able to move around their own way. Kirigiri. Tartarus. He needs to get to Kirigiri. And he needs to go to Tartarus prison again. This time, in a more official capacity, however. That might be the better option. Hey, maybe they'll let him do this if he gives somebody else that portal quirk. Well then, let's see what he can really do then. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.